Hey writer friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Holly. I'm a writer aspiring to be a published author. And in today's video, I will be sharing with you how to bounce back after a writing rut. So trust me, you guys, we have all been there. We have all been stuck in those ruts, whether it's like a writing block type rut or a depressive rut. We've gone through it all. And these are real, you guys. Some people say, is writer's block real or not? Well, ruts are real. You can't fake that. Or that's really hard to say. Ruts are real. It's like, Scooby-Doo, ruts are real. So anyways, whether it is your anxiety, depression, just life getting in the way with you being overwhelmed with moving or a new baby or a new job or family emergencies, sometimes you cannot make writing a priority. And that can lead to you getting in a long stretch of time where you're not doing anything productive with your writer life. You're not writing, you're not editing, you're not creating, you're not feeling that well, and you start to beat yourself up about it, which only makes that worse, right? So how do people get out of those ruts? How do you push through, work through any laziness, any complacency, any stressors that you're going through, and push through to meet your goals and reach your dreams? Now, last year, I definitely had my fair share of ruts. I had two really big ones that lasted about a month each, and that was not fun at all. It stalled me from being productive, and it shifted the timeline that I had made for myself. So here are my 5 tips to get out of a writing rut. Tip number 1, get back into a routine. So whether you were in a routine before that you fell out of or you were never in a routine, it's good to set a routine for yourself to keep yourself on track and keep yourself on schedule. So I know for me, a lot of times working in the mornings is the best way for me to be productive because I can get all of my creative energy out first before I go to work or before I start my day on the weekends, and then I feel better knowing that I was productive with my writerly things. But it's good whether you are blocking it on Google Calendar or writing it down in a planner or on a to-do list or setting an alarm on your phone to write, just anything that's going to remind yourself to write, and that's going to be your time to write. So it's no doing chores, it's not doing this, it's not checking your email, it's not posting on social media, even though we all love to do that. You need to retrain your brain and your body that time is set specifically for writing. Tip number 2, use your creative energy before you get tired. So this is something that I mentioned in the first tip, and that is something that I actually heard first from Kristen Martin. But that's why I like to write or edit in the mornings, because that's when I have the most creative energy. So if instead I decided to do the dishes in the morning or pack my lunch and I didn't do that the night before, well, that's just kind of mindless stuff that isn't taking up a lot of energy, and I can do that at any time. I can, do these chores when I get home from work, or I can pack my lunch the night before and get things ready for the day before. And so then when I wake up in the morning, my brain is completely fresh, and it's the best way to just use all of that creativity and all of the energy that you stored up. Another thing that kind of goes along with this is something that I learned from my friend Savannah J. Goins, and that is to come up with 2 mission criticals for the day. So that's if there's only 2 things that you did during the day, what would those 2 things be? And those are your mission criticals. Like, you have to get that done. And usually for me, that is a writerly related thing. So if you have these 2 mission criticals, then you know that those are the things that you need to do first. And everything else is secondary or not as a top priority. Tip number 3, treat yourself. So reward yourself, you guys, and this can be anything. For me, it's when I'm finishing editing a chapter or finish a certain word count I want. It's updating that in an online tracker or putting a sticker in my planner, and that is a reward enough for me. But for you, that could be giving yourself a little bit of me time to watch a show on Netflix, or paint your nails, or walk your dog, or play with your, play that extra board game with your kids, or just anything, or take yourself out, to a nice restaurant, or eat some dessert, just anything that you can find that is a good motivator for you and will kind of help fuel you and keep you going to reach your goals. So they can be simple because you're trying to get back into a routine, and so you have to reward yourself for even the little things that you have accomplished. So even if you know, you don't want to set a specific word count goal, even just sitting down and writing for 5 minutes, or you just sat down and you tried to write, but you didn't end up getting any words on the page. Well, that's better than you've done before. So you're still making progress and you should still reward yourself for it. That will help motivate you to keep going. Tip number 4, set specific daily, weekly, or monthly goals. So for me, you guys know that I do quarterly goals, and I try to kind of break that up into chunks. So for the quarter, that's 3 months, and that's a long time to be like, well, I'm gonna write this or I'm gonna edit this. But I try to break it down and set dates for myself to give myself a deadline and give myself a target to hit. So let's say, I wanted to finish editing this by January 31st so that I could have it ready for beta readers on February 1st. And then I'd get the feedback by March 1st so that I can start incorporating their feedback and editing it, and so that's a way to kind of break it up by the month. And then for the week, you can put that in your planner, in Google Calendar or your daily tracker, and break that up into daily goals as well. So let's say I was editing TCC and it was, to make it easy, gosh, math. Let's see. So to make it easy, let's say TCC is 28 chapters. I think it's 32. But let's say TCC was 28 chapters and I wanted to finish editing it in 1 month. Well, that would be, for me, I had to edit 7 chapters a week or 1 chapter a day. And so that's a really good way, instead of feeling so overwhelmed and daunted by your goal or what you think is like so incredibly far away that you're never going to reach it. If you break it up like 1 chapter, oh yeah, that's okay. And if you need to, then even breaking it up even smaller. But that's just an example of how to break up your quarterly and monthly goals into smaller goals so that you can break it up into chunks and it'll feel more manageable. And last but not least is tip number 5, give yourself grace. It's not easy getting out of a writing rut. You are beating yourself up for being in the rut, and then you're beating yourself up for taking so long to get out of the rut, and then taking so long to get back into your routine. And you don't want to do that, because that can just cause you to spiral back into the rut that you were in. For me, when I was getting out of my rut over the summer, I was in that rut all of July, and in August I was starting to be a little bit better. I was starting to edit here and there, but it still wasn't great. And then finally in September, I lit a fire under my butt and I just went for it, because I was like, I need to do this. And I did it. But if in August I was beating myself up for, being so slow, then I might not have gotten to that point in September. So you have to remember that progress is progress. You have to remember that you might not write or edit every day when you're getting back into a routine and getting out of that rut. And that is okay. You can always start fresh tomorrow. You can always start fresh in a couple hours. You can always start fresh right at that moment. All right, you guys, so that's it for this video. I hope that you found these tips helpful. Please let me know in the comments down below if you've ever been in a writing rut, how long it took you, and what you did to get out of it. Please give this video a thumbs up and click subscribe to support my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.